Hey guys, Dan from World Mr. Great, Dan Dalth the Grey. I'm a very angry person today. Nothing to do with what we're going to talk about. The usual stuff. I just come home from work. That's all I'm saying. I was rage-filled for the last couple of hours for reasons. And funny enough, if you can hear that outside, there's a thunderstorm going right now. And it started just as I left work. And when I got out of my car just now to come to my house, there was a massive thunder crack above and a slight fork lightning. I'm just saying I'm that angry. But it's not to do with the subjects, but if I come across as angry, that's why. That's why. So there's two things I want to talk about today. One of them I wasn't going to bother, but yeah, it's still bugging me a bit, right? It's the Paranormal Files. Now, I'm not going to hate on the Paranormal Files or Colin. He seems like a very nice guy. He always does. He makes what he makes, and he has a lot of fans, and that's totally fine. There's a lot of people who enjoy his stuff, and that's totally fine. But I watched Seg's video yesterday. We'll get to the other part now, but I'm just going to get my thought process out. I watched Side Eye Guy's video yesterday in work, and as usual, I found it really funny. Until I got to a certain part, and then I stopped laughing. Now, if you want to go watch the Side Eye's video, he goes on into obviously deep diving. But I just want to show one little clip. Right, one little clip of the video Seg was talking about, and it's about the Devil House, obviously. Now, I'm only going to show you a bit, to be honest, because it still makes me uncomfortable watching it a day later, but it's about the owner of the house who's, allows paranormal investigators to come to her house. I don't know if they pay, probably, I don't know. But her husband hadn't long passed away, and she's clearly grieving. We all deal with grief differently. Some of us go nuts, some of us bloody go wild, some of us keep quiet. We all deal with it differently. But this, the owner of this house, she's clearly dealing with issues since the passing of her husband. And I'm only going to show you a couple of seconds because it's really uncomfortable if you ask me. That's the thunder, by the way. I think it's moving away now because my rage is subsiding. Like I said, if you want to watch the full breakdown, go watch the Side Eye Guy's video, which I'll link down below. Now, this section I'm going to show you, she's contacting someone, I don't know, later in the video, she contacts her husband, with the Paranormal Files there, by the way. This is during the Paranormal Files investigation with Colin and his family.
Oh, can you imagine that? Can you imagine a majestic, beautiful piece of architecture like this being...
That's all I can watch, to be honest with you, because it puts a little pit in my stomach when I hear her. I don't know who she's supposed to be contacting, but whatever you think is going on there, she's grieving for her husband who's passed away, and I think she's dealing with it the wrong way, if you ask me. I don't know. Maybe it brings her comfort. I don't know, but for me, it's uncomfortable viewing. Now, like I said, Colin, for the most part, I haven't watched his stuff, right? I've seen clips here and there. He's been on many debunking channels, whatever, and he always claps back in a nice, respectable way. He always does. He's one of the few channels who can take criticism, right? But this one, for me, I found it extremely uncomfortable. Like I said, I always find Seg's videos funny. As soon as I got to that part, I stopped laughing because I just didn't find that part funny. And in Seg's defense, he didn't make jokes about it or anything. He was, he said it's really uncomfortable. But for me, I thought it was disrespectful to keep it in the video. Not Seg's video, but Paranormal Files video myself. Paranormal Files always come across as respectable, sort of. Like I said, I haven't watched all this stuff. I don't know. And they're not dumb. They're smart people. And yes, they are using devil and demon in every single video, even though if you go watch Seg's video, there's old videos of Colin saying why you shouldn't do that. Go watch his video, like I said. The clip with the woman, the owner of the house, and like I said, she's grieving for her husband. I honestly think that should have been left out of Colin's Paranormal Files video myself. Whether you're there for a paranormal investigation or whatever, even if you filmed it, even if, obviously they didn't know she was going to start doing that. So obviously, she's like using like a crystal ball or something. And Colin didn't know that she was going to start doing that, obviously. But at the same time, if you filmed it, I think you should have reviewed that footage and think, this is a bit distasteful to put this up, if you ask me. Put the rest of the investigation up all you want, but that clip, I think, should have been left out myself. I find it extremely uncomfortable. And I think I'm almost embarrassed for the owner. Like I said, I don't know how she feels inside, but she's clearly dealing with certain issues. So I think that should have been left out myself. And, Colin, if you ever see this, you do seem like a nice bloke, but that doesn't take away from the fact that certain things maybe shouldn't be up on YouTube. That's what I think. But anyway, like I said, there's no hate against them, nothing. It's just my two pennies towards that clip. I'll link the Side Eye Guys video down below. Go watch it. Now, the next part I want to talk about, it's doing the rounds at the moment. I got messaged about it, and going from the comments, the Side Eye got messaged about it as well. It's regarding a haunted home in America called the Weeping Willow, or the Weeping Willows. I always forget. Now, we're going to watch a few clips first, right? Then we get to it. This is the more funnier side. Sort, it's not funny, actually. What was I thinking? It's not funny. The house is called the Willows Weep house, and a few paranormal investigators teams have been there, supposedly a haunted house. Even the Foreman brothers have been there about 10 years ago, judging by the video I found. Now, it was recently, well, I don't know, recently, say about 4 years ago, 5 years ago, because it's an old story. It was bought by a paranormal team, namely a guy called David Spinks. He bought the house because the previous owner, the wife died, the husband died differently, ended himself in a tragic way, by the way, because he had an incurable disease which he just couldn't afford to try and fix, it's bloody tragic, actually. Obviously, the house was empty, and this paranormal team then bought the house, and they have come up with all kinds of stories of the ghosts they have found, the ghosts of the deceased owners who previously had it. They contacted them in the paranormal investigations, by the way, right? Just so you know. But this article here is from a news outlet. Like I said, this was a couple of years ago now, and the previous owners' sons and daughters, or cousin, I can't remember now, they've come out, like a couple of years ago, they came out and said, look, it's not haunted. The stories which are being made up in this house are complete and utter lies, but people keep going there. The owners of the house are charging them to go to this Weeping Willows house, whatever it's bloody called, and they're using their dead mother's and dead father's name as, we contacted them from beyond. It's fucking disgraceful, if you ask me, but I'm just going to show you some clips.
There's a house right here in the Wabash Valley, some call
this
the
is
most
the news
evil
outlets.
and haunted house in North America. A home in Eugene, Indiana, that has caught the attention of national television stations, even movie producers. Adam Baird and his sister Haley Navarro say they just want people to know the true story behind this house. A tragic story they say they've been trying to get out for nearly a decade. Here are what they say are the facts. In 2001, their mother, Cheryl Skinner, died of a heart attack at the young age of 42. They say she had the heart attack in the home, but died at the hospital. Then their stepfather, Kurt Skinner, committed suicide in the home several years later. Haley says he found out he had cancer and couldn't afford the treatments, so he ended his life.
It's bloody tragic, right? And I'll link that news article down below. It's bloody tragic. But then the people who bought the house, the paranormal investigators bought the house, I don't think they live there. I'm not too sure. But obviously they charge other investigation teams to go out there. Many you might know, probably. Like I said, Foreman brothers went there about 10 years ago. Like, obviously the owners or previous owners who lived there said, no, there's nothing haunted there. Tragic things happened, but that's what happened. That's basically all that happened. But now these paranormal teams are going there and calling it the demon house. Because if you look at it from above, it looks like an upside down cross. This is a quote from them, by the way, not the owners, but a couple of paranormal teams. If you look at the house from above, it looks like an upside down cross. All crosses look upside down if you look at them from the other bloody angle. Right? So get that shit out of your head for a start. It's almost like some paranormal teams, not all of them, but some paranormal teams go out there and make up bullshit about houses. Look at that one in England where everyone goes to. I think that people are cottoning on now. There's a house in England. I can't remember what they call it, but there was a tragic murder at this house. And then you look into the history, it's not that house. It's the house 5 miles away. Nothing to do with that bloody house. Yet that's always the bloody demon house everyone goes to in the UK. And it just goes to show that the amount of bollocks flying around the internet when it comes to the paranormal, it's Sometimes it's funny. Sometimes it's funny, like, oh, a load of shit. But then other times, I think it's just bloody disgraceful. Especially if you're using the previous owners who haven't long passed away, by the way. It's not like 100 years ago. It's pretty recent. And you were charging teams to go to this house and, contact the previous owners and the relatives. I think it's bloody disgraceful, if you ask me. I genuinely don't know how people who do that sleep at night. I genuinely don't know how they sleep at night. It bothers me, and it bothers a lot of people. It just goes to show that for a lot of people, it's bugger all to do with the paranormal. It's all about making that bloody dollar bills, as someone said once. And it's the same over in the UK. There's houses will charge, for teams to go there, charge like 200, 300, 400 quid a night just to have someone next door knock the bloody wall. It's an absolute piss take. It's a scam. I'm just going to say it outright. It's a bloody scam, right? It's just made up bollocks for these houses I'm talking about now. And then you got houses like the Jumanji house. Where did that happen? Where did the Jumanji house come from in the UK? The bloody UK Saley house. Where did that come from? Honestly, like I said, real investigators, they're doing it for their reasons, and that's fine, right? That's totally fine. Then you got the bollocks bloody teams who go out there and just make up the biggest pile of bollocks, biggest bullshit, just to try and sell their YouTube channel or sell their bloody house. It's disgraceful. But anyway, like I said, I'm a bit angry today. Nothing to do with these. It's just my anger is I'm like a frag grenade. I've exploded and everyone's getting bloody flak. No. But anyway, that's all I wanted to talk about. And like I said, Paranormal Files, if you ever see this, I'm not hating on you. I think that clip and certain other clips, just be mindful in future. And, respect the people, whether you think it's ghostly or not, just respect the people who you might put in your clips. And, it might be a bit bad for them or embarrassing. Even if they agree to it, just think forward a bit. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed. If you like this video, leave a sub. If you're new to my channel, I do this quite often. That's it. Thanks for watching, and bye for now.